find the exact value of the expression. Again, do not use a calculator. Do not use a calculator. So anytime you see the word do not use a calculator, what it's actually telling you is that you should leave your answers in irrational forms. Leave them in short forms. Do not use a calculator to approximate your answer. That's the meaning. So what we are seeing here is we are seeing the trigonometric functions of some angles, and then we're told not to use a calculator. So they expect us to know how to derive the trigonometric functions of these specific angles. So what I'm going to do is, I've explained in the previous video how to find the trigonometric functions of angles like 30 and 60 degrees. So what I'm going to draw is just going to be an excerpt from the diagram I drew in the previous video. So what you have here is an excerpt. What we drew then was, this is an excerpt of the equilateral triangle. So we said here is 60 degrees, here is 30 degrees. So we said here was 2, here was 1, and then we obtained here to be root of 3. That was what we obtained in the last video. So we said from this triangle, every trigonometric functions of 30 and 60 degrees can be obtained from this triangle. Now let's go back to the first question. What you have there is 26. Sorry, that's question 26. It says find the cosine of pi all over 3 plus the tangent of 5 pi divided by 3. Now, obviously the angles you're given here, they are in radians. So the thing you need to do is you need to convert each angle that has been given in radians, convert them to degrees. So a very short thing to do is to convert to degrees. Anywhere you see pi, you replace it with 180 degrees, because we know that a pi radian is 180 degrees. So anywhere we see pi, we would replace it with 180 degrees. So we have here is the cosine of 180 degrees divided by 3 plus the tangent of 5 times 180 degrees divided by 3. So what you have here is just going to be 180 divided by 3 is 60. So this is the cosine of 60 degrees plus the tangent of 5 times 180 divided by 3. Now 3 in 180 is 60. 5 times 60, that is 300. Now there is a little problem here. In our triangle here, we only have 30 and 60, which is what you have here. You have 60 degrees here, but here you have an angle which is not an acute angle. So the standard is that any angle you want to use, we assume that the angle should be in acute form. It should be an acute angle. So I mean an acute. So when I say acute, I mean angles that are less than 90 degrees. That's what I mean. So but then 60 degrees passed the acute test, but 300 degrees did not pass. Now how do I find the tangent of 300? This brings us to the next topic of discussion. I'm going to make a very quick sketch here. Whenever you're told to find the trigonometric function of any angle, so we are going to consider the tangent of 300. So like the tangent of 300 equals, now the trigonometric function of any angle equals the plus or minus the same trigonometric function as the tangent of the reference angle. Now this is the general formula. No matter the kind of angle you're given, the tangent or the cosine or the sine of that angle equals plus or minus the same trigonometric function of the reference angle. So it's the reference angle that determines the value of that, and then the positive or negative sign is going to be chosen based on where the angle lies in, that is the quadrant that the angle falls in. Now to make this whole thing clearer, let me sketch 300. So we know that this is 0, this is 90, so when it comes here it would have covered 180 degrees, then back here is 270 degrees, and then back here is 360 degrees. Now to sketch 300, we know we start from the x-axis and then we go, this is 90, 180, 270, and then we stop here. So 300 is somewhere here. So this line here is the angle 300. So but then how do I use this angle? So the first thing is I need to determine the reference angle. So we said the reference angle is the angle which the terminal side of the angle makes with the x-axis. That is, this is the reference angle, the angle which it makes with the x-axis. Now note, the angle we are talking about is the acute angle. The acute angle, that is the one that is less than 90 degrees. Because you can see you have one here, you have one here. So it's the smaller one you choose. So what's going to be the reference angle? Now if the whole of here is 360 and then you've been told that just this part here is 300, then that implies that the remaining part is going to be 360 minus 300. So this is going to give you 60. So that tells us that the reference angle is 60, right? So we know theta ref equals 60 degrees. Now the next thing is, which sign is it going to take? Is it going to be plus or minus? So you recall that this is for all, then this is for C, this is for T, while this is for S. So that's act. That is, the trigonometric functions of all angles between 0 and 90 degrees is positive. Between 270 and this, the cosine is positive. Between 180 and 270, the tangent is positive. And between 90 and 180, angles that lies between that, the sine of those angles are positive. So what you'd observe is we are told to find the tangent of an angle, and the angle falls in the cosine region. So it does not fall in its quadrant, it doesn't fall in its space. So because of that, you're going to have a negative sign. That is, this is just going to be, so it says plus or minus. So it is only plus if it falls in this region or it falls in its domain. But the angle we are told to find is not between 180 and 270. Actually, it's between 270 and 360. It fell in another domain, so it's going to have a negative sign. Then you have the tangent of the reference angle, which is 60 degrees. So you have 60 degrees. So back to the problem. So what we have here is the cosine of 60 plus, so instead of tan of 300, so we're going to have negative tangent of 60 degrees. So this is just the cosine of 60, negative tangent of 60 degrees. Now to find the cosine of 60, I'm going to use this triangle here. So the cosine equals the adjacent all over the hypotenuse. So the adjacent is 1 and the hypotenuse is 2. So this is going to be 1 all over 2, negative. Now the tangent of 60 is the opposite all over the adjacent, that is root 3 all over 1. And then we simplify this. So the LCM of 2 and 1 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1 times 1, that's 1. Negative 2 divided by 1 is 2 times root 3, that will be 2 root 3. So this is your final answer. For the next one says the cosine of 120 times the tangent of 60 degrees. That's 27. So for 27, it says the cosine of 120 degrees multiplied by the tangent of 60 degrees. So actually this is an acute angle, so there's no need to hustle in this area. But where is the major concern is 120 degrees. So 120 degrees is not an acute angle. So how then do I find its acute equivalent? So again, you want to find the cosine of 120, the cosine of 120 degrees. So we said the trig of any function is just plus or minus the trig of the reference angle. The reference angle. Now how do I find the reference angle of 120? So again, what you just do is you sketch. You make a sketch. So this is 0, this is 90, this is 180, this is 270, and then this is 360 degrees. So 120, you start from here and then you cover 120. So you can see it falls in this region here. So this is 120 degrees. So the thing is, what is the reference angle? We said the reference angle is the angle which it makes with the horizontal axis. And since the sum of angles on triangle is 180, that is from here to here is 180, so and if from here to here is 120, then the remaining is going to be 180 minus 120, and that will be 60 degrees. So the reference angle is 60 degrees. Now, is it going to be a positive or a negative number? Well, since we know, we say this is A, C, T, S. You're told to find the cosine of a number. Now, but the number, does it fall in the quadrant? Cosine of any number is only positive if it falls in this quadrant or it falls in this quadrant here. But you have 120 degrees, which fell in the sine quadrant. So since it fell in the sine quadrant, so you're going to take the negative sign. It is only positive if it falls in its quadrant or it falls in the all region. So this is just going to be the negative cosine of 60 degrees. So in other words, the solution to this problem is, so the cosine of 120, like we have derived here, is the negative cosine of 60 degrees times the tangent of 60 degrees. So we now come back to our triangle to find the cosine of 60. So the cosine of 60 is just the adjacent over the hypotenuse. That's 1 over 2. So this is going to be negative 1 over 2 times the tangent of 60. Now the tangent of 60 is the opposite over the adjacent, so that's root 3 over 1. So this will be root 3 divided by 1. So negative 1 times root 3 is going to give you negative root 3 divided by 2. So this is your solution. You can confirm all these answers that we just obtained here by punching your calculator, just to ensure that you don't doubt the veracity of this solution. Okay, that completes the problem.